get asked all the time, where do those beliefs come from? Where do those ideas originate? Who did you learn that idea from? And it's kind of hard when there's no one specific person or one specific idea that just solidified one belief, and that's what you run with. That was something that I probably used to do, was when I would hear something and I would be like, oh, I must share that information now. And I would literally run with those pieces that someone else was telling me. But what happens is, after a period of time, once you start piecing all these different pieces of information from different places, it becomes something else. It becomes more of something that you embody, more of something that you believe, more of something that feels true for you. So when people ask you about something, it's, okay, well, it came from here and here and here, maybe a little bit from over here. And then there's that aspect that you've brought into it, the viewpoint that you gave it, the belief or how you engaged with that information. And in light of that, I know that a lot of my beliefs and the way that I think and speak come from a place which is an accumulation of learning and listening and hearing different ideas and then bringing it into my own awareness, which is constantly changing. I wanted to create some videos that sort of gave it more of a foundational piece, so that there are key pieces or key ideas that are kind of what everything else is built on. Because it's like you exist, well, for me, you exist in three layers. There's the huge, huge, all the way back zoomed out view. Then there's the spiritual, etherical, energetic level that you are noticing more people go into. More people bring their own ideology and truth to at the moment. And then, of course, there's this, there's this 3D existence. And the way that you bring all that together is going to be unique to you, and it's going to constantly change. So I've decided to do a couple of these videos just to give some of those foundational pieces for no reason at all, even if it's just for my own ego or my own logical part of sense, to give me that foundation to the things that I believe. So I'll be sharing these over the next few weeks, just some foundational pieces that I have embodied, that I understand, that I can see some truth to, that I can attach to. And one of the number one things that I have learned and that I understand is that there is no 100% fact or fiction. It's just going to be something that is going to be your truth. And I know many people who believe in many different things have these big ideas and examples of, this is how we exist, and this is what you're supposed to do, and this is where you are, and this is where you're going. And I honestly think that no one actually knows, and that we just have been given the ability to pull the pieces that we want for us. And yes, there will be people who will sit in this one path and this one idea, moving toward this thing that they believe to be true. Yet there'll be others who will question or question it all, who will look at all the things around them and really sort of create a space that works for them. None of it is right or wrong. None of it is better than the other person. None of it is, you need to be doing this, not this. My whole backing behind everything that I do is not for you to listen to what I'm saying, for you to jump on board and go, oh my goodness, you make so much sense, I need to follow you and listen to everything you say. It's to open your mind to the possibility and the idea, knowing that there are other ideas out there, that you have the power within yourself to create your own beliefs. And yes, you can. You can create your own beliefs. This is your own existence. Because once you tap open to that, once you hear someone speaking like that, once you hear more people speaking like that, it really starts to click and you start to open your mind. Oh, hang on, I was down this path, but someone's now saying something else, and this kind of feels true. So then, if I was believing this, and now there's also a possibility of something else being true, well, then which one's mine? Which one's right? And then you will start to realize that all of them are. That there's no right or wrong. Nothing I say is gospel. It's not fact. It's not fiction. It's not something that you need to attach and go, well, you said that this, so this must be true. And it's not. All of it is my opinion, and it's my opinion in this moment, based with the information that I have, the mood that I'm in, the way the weather is outside. It doesn't matter what the reason is. It's what I want to speak out right now. So you can take that on board and listen to those pieces. And even if you hear me and you reject the things that I say, that's great. That just helps you lock more into the things that are true for you. And many times I hear people and you're like, no, that just brings me back more into the things that I feel is true for me. But once you start seeing things on a bigger picture, none of it actually matters. So I want to break it all down just to give it that foundational piece of the different things that I believe in the hope that it can help you, that it can open your mind, that it can empower you to find your own way, that it can make your life so much easier. Because when you are following the ideas of someone else, when you are believing in the beliefs of someone else, it's very hard to find yourself within there. But I do think it's still part of that process. I still have those moments now where I will hear someone or find a book or watch a video. It's like, oh my goodness, that's fascinating. I want to know more. And there's one thing that I have learnt with the different pieces of information that come to me from whatever reason, the people that the information is coming from, when they first start to embody or download or share that information, it's in their early teachings. So it may be 3-4 years ago that they were teaching this aspect or this idea or this belief or this story. Yet now they're over here because they've embodied it more into who they were. But it's that foundational piece is the piece that I find. It's that piece when it first comes to them in that raw, authentic sense of this is the information they've received and they've run with it over time. And now I can pick up the information just like they received it and I can run with it. I can use that to pull in. So it's not me finding people or new ideas and go, oh my goodness, what is this? And then now following them all the way. It's just picking up those pieces that are bringing in more of my awareness, that are helping me to expand into more ideas. So I guess the biggest question is, where do we start? And as someone who believes that these ideas that come through, these thoughts, what are we doing next? Little information droppers that come in and go, let's do this. I had a bit of a list and we're going to break it down into some of the major ideas. Obviously, we don't want to be too nitpicky because no one's going to be interested in that. But where do we start now? Start from where we're at, we move backwards. Part of my logic wants to be, let's go back to the beginning. So way back at the beginning of time. And we're not going to do that because that will become too long and too boring. So let's start where we're at. Where am I at right now? The thing that I learned moving through new ideas, a new way to be, a new understanding of our existence, what you find is because you have such a broad range of beliefs, because you end up in this place where even though you don't attach to everyone's beliefs, you can see the truth in them. You can understand where they're coming from, what belief system they're believing, what stories they are holding as true for them. So you see all these things as a belief and you create some sort of existence based on the things that you believe, the things that you create within your mind, that you feel within your body. And then what happens is, because of that backstory of who you are and how you're existing and what you're creating and how you're being is so unique to you. And because you are no longer in that space of just wanting to share those things that you were learning or those things that you are understanding, you start to find more of those things that light you up, whether you call them talents or skills or things that you enjoy to do, the things that you feel that you were good at, the things that you master pretty well and that you know you can help other people with. They're the things that start to shine through. They're the pieces of you that you are able to express. So what I mean by that, these are then become the things, whether you become someone who teaches someone how to do something, whether you show someone how to use this to create this, whether you heal people, whether you teach people how to do an actual tangible skill. They're these talents within you that are unique to you, or things that you know you are really, really good at and you can help other people with. And when you go through this journey, you will find a whole collection of these. You will find different pieces of you that you enjoy doing. You will try new things and you will do something once and go, oh, I like doing that. I want to do more of that. But, oh, hang on, I'm going to try this thing and I like this thing as well. But, oh, I like this. And then you may even be able to start piecing some of those different things that you like to do or things that you are good at together in a unique way or a new way that is an expression of who you are and the way that you've understood and the way that you have mastered the skill in that area. So that's where I'm at. It's no longer about, oh, this is what I believe, please follow me in these beliefs, which you will see a lot of people still talk about, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's just where they're at. But for me, it's no longer about that. It's no longer about the journey of, oh, I've moved through this moment today, or I've conquered this today. Even though, yes, that's still part of the things that I speak about and part of the things that create the drive or the continuation and movement towards the things that I want. It's not the sole purpose anymore. Now the sole purpose is the ways in which I know I can help people, the way in which the talents or the skills that I feel or I know that I have where I can assist other people is the areas in which I'm sharing now. So that's where I'm at. I am in this creative space, and it's where I feel that I can now use all those talents and all those skills and all that whole group of information that I've brought in, all the experiences that I've had, to be now in a space where I can use more of my creative power, more of my intuitive artistic flair and knowledge of the things that I've used, the things that I've experienced through social media and digital creation and whatever else it is, in order to help others. So we link these tangible pieces with these other pieces of using our own intuition or using our own knowing or using whatever it is you want to believe in. If you can believe that you can connect to other entities or other spirits or different thought patterns or ideas, and using that then in something tangible like creative creation. It's something that's unique to you, but you're bringing those worlds in together. You're bringing in all of those experiences that you have into one place. And like you'll see, I've got my book here on display, and it's one of three. That is an accumulation of things that I wanted to share and put together as well. Like, I made that book so that it actually had like a 21-day protocol in it. So, I liked filling in forms and creating things that made sense, but still talking about way different ideas than what you would normally expect in a money manifestation book. So it's the bringing of those things together, and there is another 2 coming, albeit a lot slower than I thought they would. But once we get to this place, this is where you start expressing who you are. This is where you find that true uniqueness in the things that you have to offer people. Then what happens is, because we are in this digital online space, whether you like it or not, it is part of our reality. Of course, there's lots of things that you can still do in person. But for me, the world that I live in, the way that I want to help is when people like me who've been through this journey, who've learned all these new things, they now have all these skills or talents or products or services where they can help other people. They need to express that in the online space. So that's where I am now using my expertise and my help, not in, oh, I've created 1 billion followers and every time I post something, everyone jumps on it and buys what I'm selling, because that's not what it's about. And that's what we'll find more about in these videos that I'm going to do, because the way that I create now, the way that I exist, the way that I want to help people is not the way that most people think. It's not the way that the majority of this world around us that we see exist in their daily life. Because generally speaking, if you look at most people around you, no matter who you are and what you believe in, we know that the general mindset is, you grow up, you work, you get a job, you get money, you pay bills, you have a family, you go do fun things, etc. You die. That's the general gist of how we've created this 3D existence in the way that we're here in this, whatever this is right now. However, when you come from it from a totally different viewpoint, where you can see it in a whole new different light, you create differently. You don't hold on to those ideas or beliefs or collective normalities in the way in which you judge or look at the way that you are showing up, or the way that you are creating, or the way that you are getting responses from people. It becomes a whole different ball game. This is also part of the reason why I'm doing all these videos, is so I can explain that a little bit more, because it can be very difficult when most social media or marketing people are telling you, okay, you need to get this strategy, you need to find your ideal customer, you need to speak to pain points, you need to post at this time, you need to do this in this way, because statistically and based on historical results for a variety of people, these are things that help you create and show up and get these results that we are using as a belief to determine what our success is. And there's a lot of different layers in that, in the way that, first of all, how we perceive success and how we believe in the normalcy of wanting and having success, etc. And we'll get to that all later. But when you come from the place of we're creating because it's an expression of who we are expressing things in the online space because it's us emitting that version of who we are. It's us expanding ourselves by speaking our thoughts, by sharing our ideas, by just being who we are, regardless of what someone else is thinking. If no one else is believing what we're saying, if the whole world is against the thing that you are holding to be true, it's us still doing that and showing up as that. That is more important. But no one's going to see that or believe that, because that's not the norm. So it's people like me and a lot of other people that I know in my space, just like this, who are showing up in their own authentic way, not the same way as me, but in their own authentic way. And it's through the power of this that allows it to ripple out, so that if one person who wasn't speaking their mind to the extent of maybe I am, they'll look at it and go, oh, well, she can do it, I can do it. And that's the whole purpose, is to show others that it's okay for you to have your own opinions, your own truth, and the things you want to share, so that people can start doing that too, so that they can unattach, they can get out of that, oh, everyone else is doing things this way, and we all need to say things this way, and we all need to do things only in this way. Once we start getting out of that, and that this is my honest belief, and this is the only reason why I do the things that I do and why I keep moving towards it, is that so we eventually create this space where we are all just doing our own thing. We are expressing in our own way, because when we do, we're going to find those people who attach to the same vibrational frequency of who we are, or the things that we're saying, or the way that we're expressing ourselves, or the way that our codes are matching, or the way that we are energetically pulling in and out ourselves, and finding the people who are meant to be in there. That is just going to happen everywhere. And can you imagine if you were someone who's very creative, but you were being told that you can only show up in one way? So you show up in that one way, and when you do, you're like, I hate doing this there. It's like when you're in a job that you hate and you're just doing it because of the money or because of whatever reason. It's the same thing. It's you showing up in this constricted, this isn't me kind of space. And guess what results you're going to have? Yes, sure, you may get some results based on the activity that you're doing and the way that collectively or historically that process has worked for other people. But you're going to be frustrated. You're not going to feel like that is who you are. You're not going to enjoy your life. You're going to come home, you're going to whinge, you're going to take out your bad mood on other people. And that is something that is extending out to other people, versus if I just came out here and just say I was someone who just liked talking in song all the time, even if no one else did, but it made me feel good and I enjoyed doing it. How do you think I'm going to feel at the end of every day? It's like, yes, I just did what I wanted to do today. That felt good. That's what I really wanted to do. That's how I was able to express the most authentic version of me today. And that is then going to ripple out because you're feeling better. So all of it will stem to what it is for you in whatever way it looks like. And then we just keep growing on that. We just keep expanding on that, even if it's only one thing, even if it's, imagine you grew up and your mother said you should never wear a black t-shirt because that just means you're in mourning. And then, but you really liked a black t-shirt, and one day you decided, oh, I'm going to get out of that. I'm going to put on a black t-shirt. Oh, what? Guess what? You have changed that vibration of who you are, because you are now doing something that feels good for you. And that's all you need to do is start with something like that, is to get into that space where you can start doing those things, even if no one else is believing you, even if no one else is listening to anything that you say or believing in anything that you believe. Because I can tell you, the deeper and the more you go into who you are, the less and less of the existence around you starts to attach to you, which means, and you'll hear people speak of this, is how things change around you. You will move, you will change cars, you will lose friends, you will lose relationships, you will lose jobs. And even though people listening to that are like, I don't want to do that, that's really scary. It's not, it's just you're no longer matching to those things around you. And as that happens, it's like this shedding of the things that don't vibrate to your frequency anymore. But what happens is then you will get the ones that do. And I will tell you, there's less. There was an norm. There's always less. There's collectively, when you are believing in the majority of ideas, whether we call them grids, paradigms, collective thoughts, whatever word you want to use, that's a heavy frequency. That is something that anyone can tap into. That is the majority of the existence out there. So when you're in that space, when you are believing in those things that everyone else around you is believing in, guess what? There are a lot of people who are attaching to that. So you're attaching to all those people. But as you move out of that, there's less. There's less and less and less and less. And the more and more and more you go, the deeper you go, the less and less and less it is. But don't worry, it's okay because you're feeling good and none of that stuff's going to matter. And I really explain that as well. It's like a lot of these topics do have such a big conversation around them. And I know how hard it can be to watch a long video, especially if people are waffling and getting distracted, which I do sometimes in conversation. It's like, oh, I'm talking about this. Oh, hang on, but that topic needs a whole conversation around it. So it can be hard. But I am telling you, it is all worth it. Because if you break it all down, what do you want? Regardless of anything else around you, where you are at right now. If I said to you, what do you want? You can rattle off things. You can tell me the things you want to experience, the things you want to have in your life. Maybe it's a relationship. We're not talking about my hair. Maybe it's relationships, maybe it's money, maybe it's going places, maybe it's doing things, maybe it's achieving things. We all have these things that we want. Because if we didn't, what is the point of even existing? What is the point of doing things every day? So we need to have a reason to live, and we know sometimes you'll say, oh, my reason to live is my partner. My reason to live is my children. Or maybe you're very driven and, oh, I want to be a billionaire. Or maybe I want to save the world. Maybe I want to feed all the homeless people. We have all these drives towards the things that we want. This is what keeps us here. This is what allows us to move every day. Because if you don't have that, what's the point? If you woke up every day with zero purpose, what are you going to do? Like, I get and understand how we can be. Of course, we see all those people like the ones deep in meditation, just allowing, just to being. I don't want to get to that stage. I want to do shit. I don't want to just sit in meditation, even though how good it will feel and how amazing it is. That's not for me. I know that I have a purpose, or I have things that I like doing. I have a way in which I can express myself. I have ways in which I can help other people. I can connect to other people. That's what I have. That's what I use to allow me to exist every day, to decide to make that choice that I want to do this. I want to create this. I want to make this. And it can be whatever you want, even if you want $1 million, just because you're on this spiritual path or this enlightenment journey doesn't mean you can't want things. Doesn't mean you have to end up in this meditative state of just sitting there saying on for the rest of your life. You're still a 3D human. You're still existing in this place as this being right now. So you may as well try and strive and enjoy it in the best way that this can. And by doing that is by listening to the things that you want and creating those desires and those ways in which you want to go for things or have things or experience things is what's going to keep you moving every day. It's what's going to give you that space in which you can create and make choices throughout your day. When you hear things, when you see things, when you feel things, when you want to do things, you know you're driving towards that. You know you are listening to the things you want, to the things you want to move towards. And if we're doing that, that's all we can do. But when we continually make that choice, we decide, yes, this is what I want. This is what I'm doing. Your drive could even be, I don't want to be sad anymore. Maybe I don't want to be angry anymore. Whatever it is, that's your drive. and moving towards that, expanding into that, and telling your universe or God, whatever you believe in, that this is what you want to do. There are going to be things, ideas, places, experiences that are going to happen around you that are going to lead you towards that. Don't worry, you may miss a lot of it, or you may say no to a lot of them. So they'll come in different ways or different forms or different ideas. But if you can just know that the only reason or the only way in which you need to exist is the way in which works for you, and that having a purpose, having a feeling, having a state where you feel good as or in as many places or times throughout the day that you can is your only goal, is your only way to exist. The rest of it's just going to work itself out. There's no, oh, you've missed this opportunity, so now it's all over, you may as well just give up. You're just following these different pieces along this path, having this journey, even when some of it sucks and it's ridiculous and makes no sense and is not fun in any way, shape, or form. It's just another experience. And I can tell you, if you're here watching this, you've probably already had some experiences that suck ass. But you're here, you're still here, you're on the other side of that. And I can tell you, being in those moments, being in those situations, you know they were not fun, but now you're on the other side of it. And I'm not saying that those things may not happen again, but you will experience them differently. You will see them differently. You will understand them and just see them as another experience, even if it's not as enjoyable as something that you create. Knowing that you've already been through shit, you know how to get through shit, you know how to get to the other side of it. It's just another experience. It's just you moving through it to get to the other side of it. And I can say, normally, on the other side of those things is normally something pretty good. And it's not just the satisfaction or the completion or the, yes, I just got through that. Because obviously, yes, that's going to make you feel good. There's also something that just happens that you're like, oh, okay, this is good. And that can be anything. That can be something that is unique to you. It could be something that is obvious to others, as something that is great and amazing, or it can be something that just you will get. Because there are many things that'll happen and you're like, oh my goodness, this thing just happened. And it's like, oh, no one's going to get that. And it's just for you. It's just something that it's special to you. It's something that you experience because this is your journey. This is your experience. This is the way in which you interpret your existence. It's going to be your own journey. And I'm only here to help you, to annoy you, to say things that make you uncomfortable so that you can disagree with me. Tell me to shut the fuck up. Oh, you can use it as inspiration to follow the things that you want to do. Every single person you meet, every single person who says something will have something unique to say. Eventually, you will find the people who are speaking their own truth. You will let go of the ones who are just recycling information that everyone else says. You will start hearing the people that are speaking their own truth. And once you hear that, that's going to incite in you to speak your own truth. And eventually, you won't need to listen to people anymore. You won't need that constant interaction, that constant, oh, I need to hear things so I can do things. You will be able to do it on your own. So if you want to watch these videos, these are going to be some topics on the foundational things that I hold as some sort of truth in my existence, just to give you a background into where I'm coming from, because honestly, none of it really matters. It doesn't matter what I believe in. It doesn't matter how I think my existence looks like. However, it is tied behind the way in which I create, and the way in which I operate, and the way in which I try and help others do that. So it's like a little background of who I am, because sometimes I'll say things and do things, and because they're not part of the normal things that you would have heard to do, you'd be like, oh, why are you doing like that? It sounds like you're a little bit crazy. And it's not. It's because of these beliefs. But you don't need them to still get creative help. You don't need them in order to find ways that you can show up in an online space. But part of my logic, part of my little intuitive hit this morning was to create this, to show people that there are some key pieces in the information that is out there that we can use as some sort of piece in the way that we exist, because I 100% believe that there is no one way. There is no one truth. There is no, this is our existence and that's the end of it. I think no one will ever know. And I think we just are here to be able, and we're given the choice to choose what works for us. So keep an eye out for the other videos, and I will try to make sure the headings make sense so you can find them. And then once they're all done, I'll probably put them in the description down below. But if you are interested in any of the creative things, just go to my website, and whatever is happening is always in there. But if there are things that you want to know more about, if there are topics or things that I talk about in any of these videos or any of the ones that are already there, and you want to get more in-depth information, I can do more videos, or I can refer you to maybe some source material, maybe some people who inspired me along the way, because there is a lot of inspiration that happens from the other people. But as you go through, eventually I just pull those pieces in and use whatever word you want. I create my own ideology and theory and thoughts towards it all and put it together in a way that works for me. But I am very happy to give you more information and lead you in the right places if you want to do your own little deep dives. So stay tuned, tap into your desires, express yourself from the inside out. Just create the things you want to create, move towards those things you want, because I'm telling you, that's, without all of this crap, if you just did that, life's going to get a lot more easier. I promise you.